Straight ahead on NonStop Local at 4, we are your election headquarters. What deadlines voters need to know for Washington and Idaho as election date comes next week. And affordable housing can be hard to come by. How the Kennewick Housing Authority says they are preparing to combat the housing crisis with new construction. And we continue to follow government shutdown impacts, what federal programs are facing the biggest budget concerns, while some remain stable for now.
Corey Howard and Leslie Lowe, bringing you the content that connects our community. You're watching NonStop Local News at 4.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us here on NonStop Local at 4. We do continue to track the impacts of the government shutdown as we find ourselves in day 29. Federal programs like SNAP and WIC are now faced with potential budget shortfalls as their money is set to run out in the coming days. As the need for food assistance grows, Congress remains in a stalemate that mostly falls on party lines. Republicans hoping to pass a stopgap funding bill and Democrats pushing for an extension on health insurance subsidies, pointing to premiums under the Affordable Care Act already increasing as enrollment begins. According to the nonpartisan health policy research group KFF, premiums will rise an average of 26% in the coming year. The study also showing that the cost may actually be even higher without these health insurance subsidies.
In just a few days on November 1st, open enrollment will begin. And tens of millions of Americans are going to more completely understand that their premiums, copays, and deductibles are going to skyrocket by thousands of dollars per year because of Republicans' continued refusal to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits for working class Americans.
Well, the Democrats are coming near now to a cliff that they will not be able to turn back from. More air traffic controllers and TSA agents and park rangers are about to go without a paycheck. You've got families and children that rely upon SNAP benefits that are going to go hungry here at the end of the week. The Democrats own every one of these consequences.
Democrats disagreeing on who is to blame, instead pointing to Republicans having control of Congress and the executive branch and are responsible for the shutdown. Now, concern growing in the community about other federally funded organizations. We've taken a look at local pantries and food banks and the uptick in visitors they are starting to see as the future of SNAP benefits continues to dwindle. Now, another area we are taking a look at, Head Start programs for early learning and childcare. NonStop Local's Ainsley Anderson had the chance to sit down with the chancellor of Spokane Colleges to see how the shutdown continues to affect those in our community.
While some Head Start organizations around the country began closing their doors as early as October 1st, for others, well, it's all about the grant funding cycle. As for programs in Spokane connected to the community colleges, Chancellor Kevin Brockbank says those are not his main concern at the moment. He says Spokane Head Start still has funding available to draw from. This means local Head Start programs will be able to maintain operation for now.
Head Start is okay at the moment, but always cautiously watching that as just such an important community resource and asset, and such an important thing for those kids and those parents.
But as stated, this isn't the case for everyone. As for programs who are on the fringe, the Deputy Director of Communications for the National Head Start organization updated their blog today, urging districts to consider ways to keep these programs a part of their operation amid the ongoing government shutdown. It says, quote, during the shutdown, you may think it's necessary to lay off staff due to funding concerns. History has shown that once a government shutdown ends, Head Start programs have received all of their funds and were able to reimburse for all allowable services delivered during a shutdown. It goes on to say, the bottom line, when Head Start programs work closely with school systems and school systems work closely with Head Start, everyone wins. And as the government shutdown continues, we remain focused on bringing you updated statuses on all of the programs and organizations that could affect you and your family. Reporting in Spokane, I'm Ainsley Anderson, NonStop Local.
Thank you, Ainsley. The Kennewick Housing Authority says construction is underway on homes with income limits. This 3.7 acre parcel will soon be home to Bubble on Gum, a low-income housing project that can house 58 families. The project itself has been in the works since 2023. The interim executive director says they are ready to start serving the community.
It takes a long time to plan and get everything together and funding and all the projects together. It takes a long time. So seeing this happening, it's actually a big deal for us because we'll be able to house additional 58 families. And our team is excited, our staff is ready to serve these families.
In order to qualify for the housing, families must meet low and very low income requirements, earning at or below 50% of the area median income. The project is expected to be completed in October of next year. And we are your election headquarters here at NonStop Local, reminding you of some important deadlines coming up for elections this year. Washington state voters are encouraged to mail their ballots by this Friday to avoid any delays with the Postal Service. Ballots are still accepted if postmarked by Election Day, but due to a reduction in USPS pickups, the concern is that your ballot may not be postmarked in time and would be rejected Election Day if that is November 4th, so if it's not postmarked by then. And then same-day voter registration is allowed in person at polling locations. Voting centers will close at 8 on Election Day, but if you are in line and still have not gotten to vote by then, it is important to stay in line. You will still be allowed to vote. And for the state of Idaho, in-person absentee and early voting ends this Friday, October 31st. Same-day voter registration is also allowed in person at polling locations. Absentee ballots must be postmarked by November 4th, and you are also encouraged to send them in early. You are also still able to vote in person after 8 p.m. if you are still waiting in line. A lot of information there, but a lot of information happening in the Weather Center right now with Leslie Lowe too, right?
Yeah, that's true. I did take notes on everything you were just saying.
Thank you.
Voting, ballots, all the things.
That helps.
So we're good. Mental notes, so I don't know how long they're going to last.
And they're gone.
And they're gone. All right, let's get a look at that weather forecast. It's been absolutely stunning out there this afternoon. We saw that band of showers move through earlier on. We saw a little bit of patchy fog, but sunshine again by the middle part of the day. We're also in peak color season, so those colors are popping and they are absolutely gorgeous. Now, temperatures today, low into the 50s in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. We've got upper 40s in Kettle Falls, low into the 60s for Lewiston and Orofino. But there's been a bit of a breeze on and off throughout the afternoon. You're seeing now they've calmed down in Spokane over towards North Idaho, anywhere from 5 to 10 miles per hour. Still a little bit breezy along the Palouse and LC Valley. Still a bit breezy also back through Ellensburg, which isn't too surprising there. Some of our strongest wind gusts above that 25-mile-per-hour mark. A current look is showing the strongest wind gusts are about 22 miles per hour in Lewiston. All that said, with that little bit of a breeze out there earlier on, it was a little bit chilly. Now, as we head into the overnight hours, we'll look for mainly clear skies. Overnight lows are going to be on the chilly side. We're dipping down into the low end of the 20s in Colville. We've got low 30s below freezing in Spokane and just above freezing over towards Coeur d'Alene, mid 30s in Lewiston. And then we've got low to mid 30s from Omak down through Wenatchee at 35 and 34 overnight tonight in the Tri-Cities. There is rain in the forecast and high mountain snow. Corey, we're going to time everything out for our little ghost and goblins when we see you back here in just a few minutes.
Sounds good. Thanks, Leslie. To a crime tracker now out of Benton County. The sheriff's office announcing the arrest of 2 men on suspicion of DUI. Deputies say they unsuccessfully pursued the first suspect Monday night, who was driving a vehicle that was believed to be stolen. That suspect now arrested after a successful pursuit last night. They believe he also stole another car before his arrest. Now, the second suspect was not connected to the other crime. Deputies responding to reports of a possible drunk driver who led them on a low-speed chase before stopping his vehicle. They say he then stumbled out of the vehicle and was arrested on suspicion of DUI after observing possible signs of intoxication. And the Spokane County Sheriff's Office says they have arrested a possible suspect after investigating him on suspicion of vehicle prowling and some other charges. Deputies say their investigation showed the 45-year-old suspect was spotted in a car that did not belong to him, where he says he was waiting for someone he had contacted online, but he was not at the correct house. The homeowner asked what he was doing after observing him in the car and rummaging through their barn, and he ended up leaving without incident. That suspect later arrested and found with a substance that was revealed to be a mix of meth and fentanyl. And the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife saying an investigation into illegal elk trafficking resulting in a guilty verdict for 52-year-old Braden Tequil out of Yakima County. Investigators say he is guilty of unlawfully selling elk through online black market chat groups for $800 to $1,000. Tequila was apprehended when officers went undercover to buy a large elk from him. He was reportedly selling trafficked elk in Vancouver, Washington, and in Portland, Oregon. Still coming on NonStop Local at 4, Smashing Pumpkins. Not the band though, we're actually Smashing Pumpkins. Sorry everyone. We'll see how one group in Omaha is celebrating the fall season with some pumpkin destruction. That's always fun, Leslie.
You know, I like Smashing Pumpkins and I like Smashing Pumpkins.
Exactly.
So it's a win-win situation. All right, live look over Spokane. We've seen some sunshine throughout this afternoon. We've got more rain. It's in the forecast. We're going to time everything out for you when we see you back here in just a few minutes.